and some of them were including clothes and 6 years clothes to be precise, and some were given a bar of chocolate sets and also drinks from a coffee drinks, natural juice drinks as well, and some were given books, startup sent books and cups as well. These were some of the things that we took out there to give to our lovely mothers out there, across wherever startup sent Ghana corridor we operate, And at the moment, we try to make sure say as we done that one, you. So we're completing or climaxing this celebration, with a promotion as well. And the promotion starts from the 20th to the 31st of May. And that promotion is send $500 or 500 of your country currency, and above, and you stand a chance of winning $20 as a thank you. We'll be selecting 50 people, and my money chia customers in the dozen. And they say that they be any no. We try to see our best, at least, we give back to our lovely cherished customers, 50 people from the States, 50 people from UK, 50 people from Europe. So we're giving back 150 lovely customers, $20 or £20 or 20 of your country currency, back to you. And happily to say, sir, the draw for the USA one will be done on the 9th, the Monday of the, not the first Monday, but the second Monday, and I bet draw on this show here also. Into the draw will be done here for the USA one, for at least, as request was said, and most of the time they miss it out there. And if we can bring it here now, they'll be very, very happy to observe or to participate into it. On the 9th, that's when the job be done. So the promotion is from the 20th, which is from tomorrow, to the 31st, which is coming Sunday, the last Sunday of the month, Then let's see, then not that Monday second, but the following Monday, then the draw will be done. We are trying to get a winner from that point as well. And that's a little bit on there and also. And I'll take this personal time to say Yamania that Katie may so rest in peace. Because I'm saying that in a sense he did a program 2 years in UK, and lucky enough that Hassan was a sponsor for that event, and we have a chat that he wanted to join the family of helping us to promote the brand. But 4th and water into maybe I would be an yakopon and crack so my, and one day we know and believe that we'll meet again. So I don't take much of our lawyer at time, and I know people are itching to hear what's up there for us for this update of the DT, a new update or the Abba Amayano Donald Trump. We'll give the time back to the lawyer, and now we take from 100 days of DT so far. Where is immigration's rules and stance? So PK, it's a question be no idea. Then I'll hand back over to you. But before that, Father's Day is next month, and definitely, that I've said is going to treat the fathers likewise lovely as well. So anytime Chuku, always for the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, A-Class, for the updates from Tatapsen. At this point, we're going to introduce our guest for tonight, and there's no other person, so our very own lawyer, RHODA A-FRIMPONG. Lawyer Frimpong has been with us for a very long time, and she has been very, very well equipped to help us, inform us, and educate us on some things that we need to know. Also, I must say there were some questions that were being, put up on the HITV chat room, and those questions will be asked for you guys as well. So please keep bringing your questions in. Please forgive me if we are not able to get all the questions, because this show will be exactly over by 7:30. So please forgive me if you are not able to ask all your questions. And I will say, if your question has already been asked, please allow, let's say somebody already asked a question, please understand if your question is not repeated because it's coming from you. So we'll try to streamline the questions again, because the centralized chat system has been disabled. So please forgive us. The hackers also got on the show, so we have to re-strategize to come back on the show. Lawyer RHODA Frimpong, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How is everyone? How's Tap Tap family?
Everyone is doing great. Thank you. It's the month of May, and May are for special people. So we are still celebrating May. We are still celebrating Mother's Day. We are still celebrating my birthday as well. And A class is also May. And I think Nana Kwame is also May as well.
I
So
see.
thank God Director Danny is not May, and my producer Lord is also not May, but the rest of us are May. How have you been so far? It's been a long time. I think
Yeah,
over 4 months or 3 months.
I think
Um,
so.
yeah,
I've
we are
been
glad to have you
busy.
back.
I think like most immigration lawyers, I've been busy. I think DT, is that what we're calling him? I call him 47, but he's 47. Yeah, yeah. He's kept us very busy. Green card interviews are back. So I'm literally traveling from Maryland to South Carolina to Jersey to New York. I'm just all over the country right now. So, but I don't think my current PA would like that very much. Mm. Yeah. Sure. Well, first, again, thank you. I always say thank you to Tap Tap. I've become part of the family, so I don't take it for granted. 101 people have questions, so let's see how best I can answer those. Firstly, yes, I'm Ghanaian. I didn't marry a Ghanaian. I'm also Ghanaian, who married a Ghanaian. So I can understand Chi. So if you have any questions in Chi, please feel free to ask. But most of this will be in English. I unfortunately, other than Teo Ten, I don't know much Ga, and don't even try me with Ewe. So. We'll stick to Tree. 100 days in, it's been bad, but it hasn't been terrible. It depends on where you've been, getting your news from and what you've been listening to. But the core thing, a lot has happened. Immigration is very, very broad. I always say that. And so it all depends on what area of immigration that you're following. Let's say if you're a lawyer in employment-based immigration, so those are the people who are doing their business immigration, a company is filing for you, you're filing for yourself because of your educational background. There hasn't been much activity there, really, honestly, other than the student visa, saga. And I'll get to that in a few minutes. There hasn't really been much. But if you are looking at the news as it relates to the courts, immigration court cases, or even green card interviews, then yes, you've seen a lot. The big one right now is the birthright citizenship matter. I know a lot of people are asking, is it still law? If I give birth to a child next week, is that child still a citizen? I'm pregnant right now. I'm doing 4 months. Is my child going to be a US citizen? As of right now, yes. As of right now, the law of this country still remains that if you're born in the United States on US soil, US territory, you are considered a United States citizen. That is the 14th Amendment. It went into effect, I believe, 127 years ago, way over a century ago. So that's always been the law. It still is the law. But on the 15th of this month, which I believe was last week, Friday, this case was brought before the Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court, because the Trump administration is saying that that should not be the law, because the first day, January 20th, when he got into office, he signed an executive order stating that after February 19th, which, as you can see, we've passed that, After February 19th, anybody who gives birth to a child in the United States, if the father of that child is not a U.S. citizen, or if the mother of the child does not have status, then that child does not have status. Or if the father of the child is not a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and the mother of the child is, let's say, on a student's visa or here on a visit, then that child does not have status. That is what 47 signed on January 20th, and it was supposed to go into effect February 19th, and it did not, thank God, because about a few judges throughout the country just put an injunction, and all that means is they put a pause on the law going into effect. And the Trump administration did not like that. And so they, requested an emergency hearing, and it's been brought before the U.S. Supreme Court. I won't bore you with the process of laws, but the U.S. Supreme Court is the supreme, they issue the supreme law of the land. If they say this is it, then this is it. So right now, it's before the courts as of, I believe it's Thursday, actually. It was Thursday. It wasn't Friday. It was Thursday, because I watched about, I think, almost like 30 minutes of it. It was on for almost 2 hours, where the Trump's administration's lawyer was trying to argue that, this should not be a law. Right now, the justices have not made a decision. The Supreme Court usually doesn't make decisions on such matters until the end of their session, which is usually ending of June. That's where most of their decisions on the court cases that they've heard, that's when they announce it. So between now and that's usually when they announce it, but also understand that they could decide to announce it tomorrow or next week, but generally by the end, last week in June, early summer is when they announce whatever they bring out their decision. From what I've read and from what I've seen, it's hard to say, which way it's going to go. It seems like the judges are split as to whether this should be a right, whether you're born in this country, you should get citizenship automatically, or whether it should not be. Interestingly, the judges that seem to be tipping for the, in the favor of we the people, one of them was appointed by Donald Trump. I think Kavanaugh. I think he may be the most recent judge that was added to the Supreme Court. If I'm not, no, he's the most recent male. I believe Judge Ketanji Brown was the most recent one that was added. But Kavanaugh was asking questions to the Trump administration, Trump administration's lawyer, asking him, how exactly would this work? If we say that if you're born in this country, you're no longer a citizen automatically, then what is the child a citizen of? What are doctors going to do? What are hospitals going to do? And the Trump administration's lawyer didn't seem to have a response, or at least not a reasonable response. And so right now it's before the Supreme Court. They are discussing it. We are hopeful. You are a prayer warrior. Please stop praying, because again, if the Supreme Court says it's no longer law, understand that it's no longer law. That's it. It's final. So we are praying and hopeful that it will stay how it's been for the last 127 years, so that things can be as they are. The reason why this might even matter, and it should matter to most of us, is that there's some people who are in the United States who've been here for years, who came with a visa 25 years ago, who maybe because they gave birth to a child in the United States, that child turned 21, and now that child has filed for them to get green cards. I have many clients like that. And so if this goes away, understand that if you gave birth to that child and you had overstayed your visa, you came maybe, 3 years ago on a visitor's visa, and you give birth, next year. If this does become law, your child is not a citizen. And so if the plan is that this child one day will be able to file for you when they turn 21, that's not going to be the case, because that child will not be a citizen, right? Or even if you, let's say you didn't even overstay, maybe you came for school, you're doing a doctoral program, it's 4 years, you meet somebody, you fall in love, you have a baby. If the father of the child is not a citizen and is not a green card holder, even though you have a student visa and you give birth, the child may not be a U.S. citizen if the Supreme Court decides that they want to agree with the Trump administration. So that's why this is such a hot topic right now. Again, it's before the court. Keep prayers up. We'll see what happens, between now and the next 6 weeks. The next big change, I will say, is that there's been a lot of new policies that USCIS, and that's the agency that is responsible for processing green cards, work permits, citizenship interviews. They're responsible for that in the United States. The ones that do, the agency responsible for cases outside of the United States is the Department of State. They're different. But USCIS has been making a lot of changes that they haven't been publicizing. In the past, there's been pretty transparent. If there's a new policy, a new change in how in procedure, they usually make an announcement. Unfortunately, that's not the same situation in this administration. There isn't much transparency, unfortunately, and so we are kind of finding things out while the matter is happening. One major change that again wasn't publicized, but we've seen a trend, is that the USCIS is no longer working with the Social Security Agency office. So for the last couple of years, they created a program where USCIS, that's again the agency responsible for your work authorization, your green card, and then the Social Security office or agency, they used to work together, right? So when you apply for a green card, you apply for your work authorization. On the forms, it asks you, do you want a Social Security card? Do you want a Social Security number? If so, give us your mother's last name, give us your father's last name. If you get approved for the work permits or you get approved for the green card, usually you would get a Social Security card in the mail either before or after you get the work permits or the green card. That has not been the case so much anymore because the program that allowed those two agencies to do that has been cut. And so what's happening now is that if you apply for work authorization and you get approved, you now have to go to the Social Security office and apply to get a Social Security card. And usually when you request it, it takes about 14 days for you to actually get the Social Security card. Same thing with the green card. If you apply for a green card or even citizenship and you get it, in the past, you usually would get a new Social Security card right after, sometimes a week or two before. But now that's not the case anymore because that program that allowed the two agencies to communicate is no longer there. So it's a little bit more work for all of us, but it's not too much work. But that's one of the changes that has happened. Again, they haven't made an official announcement. They haven't said this is our new policy, but it's more so journalists and people who've been investigating and have been getting leaks out of the administration that are finding out that there's been memos. The administration is writing memorandums, sending it internally to their staff, and then it's leaking and it's coming out, and that's how the news reporters are broadcasting, and that's how we, the lawyers, that's how we're learning about it. So that's one major thing there. Let me see what else I have for you all. Oh yes, lottery, DB lottery, for 2026. Results came out May 3rd. So that was about 2 weeks ago. So if you applied for the lottery last year, you submitted, it opened in October. If you submitted and you entered, go and check to see if you have been selected. They're not going to call you to tell you you've been selected, so please go and check for yourself to see if you've been selected. They're not going to email you. You just kind of have to go and check. So if you've been selected, congratulations. Sadly, being selected does not mean that you actually would get a green card, but that's a different conversation for another time. But either way, if you've been selected, go ahead and get the process started because that's your chance at getting a green card. Let me make sure that's all the updates I have for you all today. And it is. The only other update is about the student visas, but that, by God's grace, has been resolved. If you, again, are a student yourself, or maybe students, or you have watched the news, about 3 weeks ago, about a month or so ago, a lot of students were getting their SEVIS canceled. So that's basically what authorizes them to be in the United States. That's what allows them to be here as an international students. They were waking up and getting letters from their DSO, the department, their designated school official, letting them know that unfortunately the government has canceled your I-20. You're no longer an international student, which basically means you kind of have to leave school. Most of this was happening because of little things. Maybe somebody was speeding and got a ticket, small traffic violations, small criminal activities that usually wouldn't rise to the level that would cause you to lose your status. But the administration did something. I don't want to go into too much detail. And they canceled a lot of the international students' statuses. And there were a lot of lawsuits, and fortunately, the ones that they canceled have now been reversed. And so things should be how they were before they canceled it. So if you're an international student, I know the last month or so has been very hectic for you. If you know international students, please check on them, send them some jollof or something because they've been going through it. It's been hectic for them. So that is all I have as far as your updates. I hope I covered everything.
All right. So this is what we're going to do.
Sure.
We're going to ask the questions, right? And I'm going to take the questions first from those from the HITV platform. and ask their questions first, and after that, I'm gonna go to the chat and Facebook and other platforms, YouTube, to ask those questions as well.
Right.
If I ask the question and you already covered that, please just do me a favor. Since there's a lot of stuff, just let me know we already covered that, so that people can, those who hear those questions can always go back and watch the videos and just refresh their mind on the update. And again, for the viewers, this is streaming live on Facebook, HITV, Facebook Tatapsen Ghana, and also live on YouTube, HITV. So you can always have access to this video. And we will post links of Friends of Tatapsen and HITV, both chat room links in the chat room. So if you join that platforms, you're also going to have access to actually communicate and also see a copy of the video being put over there. So let me start off with the questions from HITV first. So this question is from, excuse me, please forgive me.
It's okay. That time of year.
You figured that already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first question, no, I already got it here. So the first question is from Esther. Esther says, is dual citizenship necessary? If so, in what ways? That is the first question from Esther.
Necessary? It depends. I would, so dual citizenship basically means you are, I'm assuming, a U.S. citizen, and you possess citizenship in another country. Is it
Ghana?
Oh, so okay, fine, Ghana. Is it necessary? I mean, if you want to, if you were born in Ghana, you're a national, you're a citizen of Ghana. If you've naturalized in the United States, you're a citizen of the United States. So by de facto, by operation of law, you do have dual citizenship, because it just simply means having citizenship in two different countries. I don't know if I can say it's necessary or it's not necessary, but you have it automatically. US does recognize it. So you're not, I know people have said that when you apply for naturalization, they tell you, to relinquish all loyalty to all other countries, which is true, they do. But you still are able to maintain your citizenship in another country. So you're not necessarily banned from remaining a Ghanaian national or Ghanaian citizen just because you became a naturalized citizen. I'm both. I'm naturalized here, and I was born in Ghana, so I still have both. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So the second question is from Phoenixia. Phoenixia, I think I got your name right. So Phoenixia says, any updates about citizenship at birth? Is it still available?
Just covered that. So yes,
yes, you just covered it. Okay, cool. Yeah. And the next question from me says, what about visa lottery? Has it been canceled?
Just cover that too. It's still open. Depends on the country.
And you said the results are in, right?
Yep, May 3rd. It depends on the country you're from. Not all countries are eligible or are able to apply. So if Ghana, last I checked, is still there.
Dada Sami says he has two questions. Do you need a visa to travel to Ghana if you hold a dual citizenship?
You don't need a visa because you're essentially returning home. If you're a Ghanaian national, you don't need a visa to enter your own country. But I know there's been this whole back and forth and the questions about whether you can. So if you have citizenship in the United States and you're a citizen of Ghana, by law, you're required to leave the United States with your US passports. That is what you have to exit the country with. And then you have to enter the US when you're coming back with your US passports. Now, if you get to the airport and they're asking you, okay, how you plan on entering Ghana, you can show them your Ghanaian passport or your Ghana card. I'm a Ghanaian national. This is how I plan on entering Ghana. And that should suffice. But again, I don't want to take business away from the consulates. If you want to apply for a visa from the Ghana consulate, you certainly can do that and get a visa in your US passport. Don't get a visa in your Ghana passport. I don't think you can do that. Get a visa in your US passport, leave with your US passport, and you can come back with your US passport. So yeah.
Okay. His second question is, do you need a visa to travel to any other countries apart from Ghana as US citizen?
It depends. I know being a US citizen affords you the ability to travel to many countries without a visa. Not the UK anymore, or it's the EU. They've divided themselves up. But as far as traveling to England, you may need to do their form of a visa. But being a US citizen, the Blue Book gives you access to a lot of countries. Off the top of my head, I don't know exactly how many. I want to say over 120, I think. But you just have to check with the country that you're entering whether you need a visa. I can tell you don't need a visa to go to Jamaica. I just went there. I didn't need a visa.
All right. Let's go to the next question. The next question is coming from EB. EB says, if you owe a credit card debt, can you petition for a relative?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends on your financial capacity, not so much whether you owe debts. I mean, it's America right now. Have you seen the tariffs? Everybody owes debts right now. But if you make enough to meet if your household size is commensurate with how much you're making, then you're fine. And what I mean by that is if you're petitioning for someone, you're required to show that you make at least, the bare minimum to financially support the person if the person ever needed it. So the person doesn't become dependent on the government. So if you're a two-person household, generally you need to make about 24,000 or so. If you made at least that amount last year on your taxes, then you're fine, whether you have debt or not.
Okay. And the last one is coming from Feel Blissful Wellness. Says, can citizens still file for petition for parents or siblings?
Absolutely. Still
All right.
can. Yeah.
This is where it's going to get a little bit cumbersome. So please forgive me because now I have to look at the Zoom chat to actually read the question. So Lottie says, thank you for the songs. And then that was for producer admins. Okay. Paul says, okay, we got you. James, thank you, Duke Jr., for responding to James for me. I appreciate that. Esinam says, okay. We're going to start off with Michael Boateng. Michael Boateng says, with our immigration questions, can we still send from here or after the presentation? No, you're still standing from here. And Odisha says, I'm in US on a J1 visa with the 2-year rule section 212E not applied to me. However, my J2's wife and daughter got their visas this month for which they are subject to the 2-year residency rule. Please, lawyer, what is the legal implications of this? Is it that my status will be changed anytime I renew my visa?
What is your program? Because the program that you're engaging in, so J is exchange, right? Or exchange visitor. You're either here based on some agreement between the US government and the country you came from, or some sort of exchange program. If it's funded, wholly or partially by a government, usually you're required to return to your country of origin and apply whatever you came to learn here back home. Now, if you're saying that you're not subjected to the 212E requirements, and that requirement basically is simply that when you finish your program, you must go home and reside home for at least 2 years before you can come back and try to stay here permanently, right? So if somebody who came on a J1 program who's subjected to that residency requirement, you can't adjust your status and get a green card here without fulfilling that 2-year residency requirements unless you get a waiver. Right. So it's multiple steps. But if you're saying your program doesn't require you to be subjected to the residency requirements, then I would wonder what status because if you're saying J2, then it means that they're your dependents. I wonder what is it based off of? I would have questions because they're dependent and derivative from you. So if you're not subjected to it, then generally they shouldn't be either. So the question would be for me to ask you, are you sure that you're not subjected to it? But we'd have to take that one offline.
All right, please take that offline. And again, we're gonna put Lawyer RHODA's number in the chat before we end the show so that you guys can contact her for your consultation. Liz says, what is the process for someone who has been outside of the US for more than a year with a green card? Would they face any deportation, job re-entry?
If you've been outside of the United States for more than a year and you didn't get a re-entry permit, then you've essentially abandoned your green card.
So they lose everything.
out of the United States for more than 365 days, you've abandoned your green card, especially in this administration. They'll give you a hard time. Even now, if you go out for more than 6 months, they'll start asking questions.
All
So if
right.
you've been out for more than a year, provided you did not, get a re-entry permit, there's a specific form you have to file to allow you to stay outside for, I believe, up to 2 years. If you didn't do that, then you've essentially abandoned your status. You may have to file for, returning residence. There's a different process you'd have to go to. It may not be as simple as just hopping on a plane and flying back.
Okay. Michael Barton says watching from Canada, Purity Nyakun, Ohio, Liz, UK, Obuama Samson says Ghana, Odisha, Virginia, Araba, Georgia, Benedicta, Virginia. A-class asked everybody to put it here. Place of this is gonna really okay. I'm gonna read it for you guys. Kwame Insiado says New York, Cecilia Aka, Ohio. Liz is US. Liz the six states also to the US. Sape Nunu says New Jersey. Jeremiah Danso, Canada. Now Duke comes with a question or a statement. In Canada, applied for PR through CEC stream, provided all documents but mistakenly swapped Ghanaian police background check with the Canadian for the spouse. IRCC canceled application without opportunity for submission. Do you think I should continue because the Canada application?
You lost me at Canada.
Yes, Duke. She's only giving us updates from the American standpoint. Asinam says Canada. Lottie says Rhode Island, and thanks for that above location watching us from. That's from A-class. You can still send in your state or country and where you're watching from. Guest says Maryland. Joshua G, New York, and FF is watching us from Woodbridge, Virginia. Kwame Insiado in Edu, I think it's Edu. Married my wife in 2021 and filed my petition for my wife with I-130 to join me in the New York. The petition was able to get through USCIS, and it's now at NVC as of February 2025, and we are currently waiting for an interview date. My question is, can anything be done, or can any politician intervene to fast track our interview date? Follow-up question, what is the typical estimated wait time for an interview date?
Can anything be done? You can pray. That always works. You can, depending on your circumstance, you can try to ask for an expedited interview. I can't guarantee that it will be successful. You usually have to show a strong reason why they should give your beloved wife an interview before everyone else's wife or children, right? So the wait right now is because there aren't enough interview dates available for people to attend their visa interviews. So that's why you're waiting. And so if you have a strong enough reason, and I know I'm being a little silly about it, but if you generally have a strong enough reason, God forbid someone is sick, someone is dying, or it's a humanitarian reason, you can try to request an expedited interview at the embassy and see if they will allow it. If they do, then bless God. If they don't, then unfortunately, you're going to have to wait. As to whether a politician can assist, depends on who you know, I guess. But as far as I know, the embassies and consulates throughout the world are separate from the United States. I am a U.S. immigration attorney. I can walk into a USCIS office today and I have some level of authority and I can actually do something and advocate for my clients. But I don't have that same authority at a consulate overseas because we just don't. So it depends on who it is that you know. If you're talking about a politician from the US, you can try. If you're talking about a politician in, I'm assuming Ghana, yeah, they may. That it depends on who you know. Currently, I know the last time I checked for Ghana, assuming you are a US citizen, because depending on your status, that may affect the length of time that your wife will be waiting for an interview. I believe it was July 2023 that they were scheduling interviews for. So what that means is once the NVC says your case is complete, we have everything we need from you, that date is your place in line. So I believe the question said February 2025. So if that's the case, right now they're scheduling interviews for people who had their case complete, and I want to say July 2023 for U.S. spouses of U.S. citizens. So do the math there. It's a little bit almost 2 years before they get to your wife's case for an interview.
Okay. Kwame has two questions. One, I filed for my spouse, and after arriving here, has changed her behavior and making me stressed out. Stop. I didn't want to laugh.
I'm so sorry.
Making me stressed out and depressed. Can I call for her deportation? Oh, that was a bold step.
That
Two,
escalated.
if not possible or allowed, can I charge her and let her go her way? Before you answer Kwame's question, the previous question from the other Kwame, right, in Seedu, can your office help with that if they contact you?
I'm an honest person. He's done. The case is done. He's waiting for an interview.
Okay.
So there isn't much I'd be able to do right now, to be very honest.
So this Kwame right now is looking like a Bawa position at the moment.
Well, hold on, it depends. So
that's a reverse Bawa.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, so he brought the person here. So is he the citizen? And then the person he brought is oh, I'm so sorry. Wow. Sorry, Kwame.
I think you can help with that. Kwame, please.
if he's seeking permanent residence, if he's the one that doesn't have documentation and his spouse is abusing him, then yes, there is an avenue through which he could do a self-petition, provided that it's a genuine marriage and all of that. But if he's a U.S. citizen and he brought her over and she's abusing him, get a divorce, get a restraining order, protect yourself and be safe. That's all I can say.
Okay. Well, Lawyer RHODA's information is Bethel Law Group, telephone number 508-439-4445. The number again is 508-439-4445. And her email address is info@bethellawgroup.com. Again, info@bethellawgroup.com. And the Bethel Law Group is just like the one on her shirt. So that's the spelling. And the Instagram account is Bethel Law Immigration. Bethel Law Immigration. Ikea says, I filed for my parent. What is the approximate wait time?
It depends. Where are your parents? Are they in the United States? If they are, it's about 7-8 months, depending on what state they live in. If they're overseas, depends on the country. If it's Ghana, give or take, it'll take about 15 to 16 months just for that first petition. That application that you said you're a U.S. citizen and then this is your parents, that'll take about 15 months just for them to say we believe that that's your parents. And then the case will move to the next step, which is the NVC, like I think someone else had mentioned. Case will move to the NVC. NVC will ask for more documents. You'll submit some more information, pay a couple fees. Once NVC is satisfied, they'll keep your case there until an interview date is available in Ghana. And right now it's about a 2-year wait for interview dates.
All right, cool. Francis Ofei says, do you do EB2 and IW?
National interest waiver. It depends on the specifics of your case. If I don't take it, I do have a colleague that does that. She specializes in that. So yeah, connect with us. And if I can help you, she certainly can.
All right. Duke Jr. says, I would be helpful to speed up the questions to cover more questions. Or it would be helpful to speed up. Duke, I don't know how speed again do you want us to get with this. It will be pointless if we speed it up and nobody understands whatever we said and get all those quantity in without having quality questions. I think we're going fast enough. Thank you. Kojo says, I filed for my siblings in 2015. What would be waiting time frame before we hear from the USCIS?
Siblings, U.S. citizen, I think it's about 16, 17-year wait. So if you filed, right now, I think they're processing 2008, which means people who submitted their application in 2008 are now getting to that stage where a visa is available for their siblings. So if you filed 2015, so it's about 7 years later, then you have subtract 7 from 16, about 9 years to go. About 9 years.
Okay. So when are we organizing something for some of us in Canada? This is from Tony G. Tony G, I'll be glad if you get us a lawyer from Canada because we've been trying to get this taken care of. Because, Tatopsen, even though Tatopsen on the large scale services US, Canada, right? But when it comes to immigration, it's centered to one place. When we get an immigration lawyer from Ghana, when we get a lawyer from Ghana, the lawyer from Ghana is telling us stuff that we need to know, how to get things right before coming over here from Ghana, or when we try to do business, we try to do other stuff in Ghana. So if we do get a lawyer, Tony G, I really like your question. If we do get a lawyer from Canada, we will set up something like that so that our people from Canada can also ask some questions about it. And those from the US can learn from the Canadian staff, Canadian side as well. So please try to help us. Again, we're gonna put a chat link in there. Once you get into the chat link, the His Royal Empire chat room, I'm there. I'm also part of the Friends of Startups and chat room. Once we put the chat links in there, please click on it, join the link, and you'll find me over there. You'll find me because I'm obviously not talking to the producer. Is always posting stuff over there, and we can communicate and we can work something together. Duke says, I'll be surprised if they don't answer Canadian questions, because the invitation says US, Canada. Yes, Duke, just like I explained, the lawyers have jurisdiction and they can't go beyond their jurisdiction. Okay, A-Class did put his number over there too. So that, just like I said, we'll be very grateful. We've been looking for one for quite some time now. Emmanuel Akwe says, do you work on asylum cases?
I don't.
Okay. Oh, you already responded to that. You beat me to it. Michael Barton says, are we covered, especially from Canada? Okay, Michael Barton, that same thing goes to you with what Tony G said. Can we travel with I-797 receipt notice and enter the US without any issue? And this is from BK.
I-797 receipt notice and a green card? You'll need that. Because, yeah, so that's just a receipt notice. I-797 just means you filed something and immigration has received it. Now, depending on whether it's a C or a B or an A, because it's either I-797A or B or C, that'll determine what exactly it is that you're holding. So if you're filing for, let's say you filed for renewal of your green card, it has expired, and they send you the I-797C, or I believe actually it's B, and you attach that with your green card, and yes, you can travel with that, and yes, you can come back in. But that receipt by itself, no, it doesn't do anything. You need the green card with it.
OB says, do you feel or think processing of the DV 2026 I think he or she want to say, will be canceled only because the current administration requires passport during the initial entry?
Do I believe it'll be canceled?
Yes. He or she thinks, do you feel the process of the DV 2026 will be canceled?
There's nothing right now that leads me to believe that the DV lottery program will be canceled. No. At this exact moment, there's nothing that would lead me to believe that.
Okay. Again, the number or the contact information for Lawyer RHODA is 508-439-4445. And the email address is info@bethellawgroup.com. And the Instagram account is Bethel Law Immigration. Please, this is for those who are interested in contacting her for consultations. And our previous viewers who have done that has really have some great results from that. So please take advantage of it. Alex J is watching us from Alabama, and OB says, also, is everything that is happening going to create a backlog where getting appointments for DV lottery be affected?
So the appointments is based on the embassy or the consul, depending on where you are. It's a lot of it is based on the country, right? I have some clients who've come through Germany, who've come through England, who've come through, I think, Italy. I think that's correct. And they don't wait nearly as long as clients in Ghana. I have clients in Nigeria who come through Nigeria, and their wait is not even as long as Ghana. So it all depends. It all depends on that specific country and that consulate.
Okay. Fafa says, how are conditional green card holders treated when re-entering? Say you have the receipt notice and your expired green card.
Oh, okay. So provided the decision has not been made on your conditional green card while you were gone, then you're fine. If you also haven't committed any crimes, before you left or after you left, then you're fine. But yeah, I know that it was in the news about 2 months ago that people who are traveling, on conditional green cards, they are waiting for the 10-year green card to come in. So they're traveling with the old one, and the receipt have been getting, denied admission. There's always context. Context matters. If you dive a little deeper into those circumstances, you realize that the person was either committed a crime years ago and didn't show up for court, or the person posted something on the, against the government, and the government felt as though they were national security risk. There are usually more context to those stories where you hear a person has been denied admission to the United States. But for the most part, if your green card application is still pending and you're coming in with the receipts and the conditional green card, you should be fine.
Okay, Yvonne is watching us from Oregon, and Finley Barnes is watching us from Lexington, Kentucky. Anambra Amaka says, how long is an American passport holder permitted to stay outside the U.S.?
A U.S. citizen?
Forever.
I will stay for the next 4 years and come back after that. Okay.
Audition says, please, lawyer, can I call you just after this program?
I'm going to go eat dinner after this program.
Let
you
me
can
tell
call
you
my
something.
office.
Have you realized that anytime you're on this show, there's always one person who becomes the MVP or the highlight of the day? Duke is the highlight of the day. Listen to Duke's response. Massa, she's married. Don't call her.
Thank you.
But yeah, audition, please call tomorrow morning. Please call tomorrow morning.
She can call now. My staff will answer. There's someone to answer the phone. It's just not gonna be me. You'll just talk to them. They'll get information from you.
Well, maybe they can get an appointment through your So
you can get an appointment. It's just I'm not. I'm I did.
Audition, are you serious? So why are you serious? Duke is over there just pulling his legs. In him says, I'm watching from Silicon Valley, San Jose, California. And Phineas says, after you get 10 years green card and you later get divorced, can your spouse call immigration to have your card revoked?
They can, but I can't say they'll go anywhere. I mean, the only time I could see it becoming an issue is if you apply for citizenship. Then, because when you apply for citizenship, they look at how you got your green card. And so if there's this, there's reliable or credible evidence that your green card was fraudulent, or you played your spouse to get it, it may affect how if you become a citizen. But if you've already gotten the 10-year green card, it may not go anywhere. It may, but again, that's up to the discretion of the government. Also depends on the evidence that the person is bringing, because understand that person had to convince the government that the marriage was real. So now you're coming back and saying it's not real. So were you lying before, or are you lying now? So that's the thing.
Okay. All right, producer, please the HITV chat room link in there. Please click on the link and join, and we will welcome you guys accordingly. Please, A-Class, do us the favor and post the Friends of Tatapsen link as well, so that we can have people to join that as well. So the difference between both links is the HITV platform link is just to discuss topics that we want to trade over here, and the Friends of Tatapsen is to discuss anything concerning Tatapsen. And the topics, like any conversation that you want to have, it also goes over there concerning Tatapsen and anything that is around it. Atenka says the number again, please. Okay, the number is being given 508-439-4445. The reason why I keep repeating those numbers just for the purpose of those who are listening and not necessarily watching, so that they can also take notes of it. All right, Gifty iPhone says, do you need to pay a visa fee for B1, B2 before your interview?
Yeah. You can't schedule the interview without paying I believe it's $190 or something like that. Yeah.
All right. Araba says, what are the primary legal and procedural factors contributing to the prolonged duration of interview process in Ghana compared to other countries? How do these factors impact the efficiency of the justice system? I like that.
I saw the question come in. I was like, okay, now you want me to pull out my political science degree. How does it affect the efficiency? Now, understand that every country obviously has how they handle their procedures. Now, on a global scale, the U.S. government, which Department of State is what controls the consulates and embassies, they have policies, right? It's been said, and if you remember, if you were tuned in earlier, I said that there's been a lot of things that has been done by this administration that hasn't been publicized. But some of it has come out in the news that there are changes that are coming to the Department of States and how they handle embassies and consulates across the world. Shortages as far as people are going to get terminated, which means it's going to affect how efficient and how quickly interviews can be scheduled. If they don't have enough staff, then they don't have enough people, then cases are backlogged, and which means you're waiting longer for your interview. So that's one component of it, because that comes from the top. The second component of it is that the individual consulates and embassies have their own procedures. Some countries just happen to move a little bit more for lack of a better term, efficient than others. And that's where I'll leave the question because I'll answer like a politician. I'll leave it there.
Okay. I'm going to read this question, even though you already responded, just for the purpose of those who are on Facebook who haven't seen this question so that they can know the answer to it. Rebecca asked, can I file for my niece and nephews 30 years and under? And you responded, no, only direct relatives, spouse, child, sibling, parent. Our brother Kwame comes back and says, I am a U.S. citizen filing for my wife. Seeing as the wait time is 2 years, would it help our case to change our interview location to a different country that has a shorter wait time to get our case processed sooner?
Yeah, I think someone else asked a similar question, like when you get further down. So that'd be considered a third country national, where you're basically going through your process in a third country. So you can, but understand that you're not jumping from the waiting line in Ghana to get to the front of the line at, Cote d'Ivoire. You may be just getting to the back of that line. So just switching countries does not necessarily mean that you're going to be moving a lot faster than if you stayed where you are. Recently, the Department of State has released a website where you can go and you can find out what the rough estimate is for interview dates, based on the country, based on the consulate. So I would suggest before people go and just ask to move the case to another country, go and check to see if, you have an interview coming up in possibly 3 or 4 months. If, right now they're interviewing July 2023 and your case became ready maybe November 2023, I would wait rather than go and move to Togo and find out that you're about to now be waiting another year. But in short, yeah, you can have your case moved to another embassy contingent on that country accepting your request to move there.
All right. A-Class has posted the link to the Friends of Startup Center, so please make sure you click on that and join the family as well. Very good one from Kingston. Green card lottery denied due to previous wrong name used 20 years ago. Given option to file for a waiver in 6 months, is it worth going forward with the waiver application?
Hold on, run that back. Green card lottery denied. It's wrong name used 20 years ago. And you've been given an option for a waiver.
To file for a waiver in 6 months.
Is it worth going forward with the waiver application? If you have a chance, go for it. I'm just trying to figure out which waiver and why would you not want to?
Exactly.
If you have a chance to,
you have an option.
Yeah. There's more there, Kingston. There's more there.
Larisha is watching us from Virginia. Thanks again to A-Class for posting the links in there. Please, guys, please click on both links so that you can join and become part of the family. Eugene A-FRIMPONG says, hello, can we please... Okay, you already posted the number. Again, the number is important to me. It's 508-439-4445. Please click on that and make sure you call and schedule for consultancy, not just asking for questions. Please get your consultancy time in. There you can ask all the questions that you have. A 10-card says, do you have a lawyer friend who specializes in immigration issues concerning art profession? Is it not the same? Is it not you?
It depends. Are you talking about an O1 visa or what do you, there's no, at least to my knowledge, no specific.
Oh, so even immigration law, you guys have different specialties. And what,
yeah, so there's employment-based, which is more so
the OPT side.
OPT falls on a family. I do OPT cases, but employment is Deloitte wants to file for you to get a green card. Right? Or Deloitte wants to file for you to get an H-1B and stay. That's more your employment based. But art visa, I need more there because when I read that, the first thing that came to mind was maybe an O1 visa, which is for extraordinary ability. Where you can come to the United States if you are really, really, really good at what you do and you're the top tier. Then you can, seek that visa if you meet the requirements there.
Oh, she came in a response. She said, I meant to advise artwork visa, H-1B with art profession.
I see. Yeah. So that's employment based. So I will check with my friend that does NIWs and things like that to see if she's open to that. Yeah. At this time, I like to stay in my lane. So because I can consult about it. I know a lot about it. I don't officially offer that service right now.
Okay. I'm gonna slide to Facebook, my Facebook platform. Our brother Kumasi Nyami says, good evening, family. How do you become a dual citizen if you obtain an American citizenship? And I think you already covered that part, right?
Yeah, you have it automatically. I know Ghana has a procedure where I think you have to actually apply and pay a fee so you can be officially recognized as a dual citizen, but that's Ghana's policy.
Yep. And Papa Yabwa says, thanks for the update. Um, then we go to HITV Facebook. Please don't leave. Um, Beatrice Cook says the number again, please. The number again. The number is 508-439-4445. I'm going to type it over here as well. And all right, it's typed over there. And we're going to go back to Zoom and ask more questions. Then we're going to go back to Tatups and Facebook and ask some questions too. Mommy says, please, I filed for my mom 3 years ago, but up to now, they haven't called her. I gave her an invitation and they have given her 5 years multiple. Now, can I consider to file here instead of her going back to Ghana? That you didn't give the visa to the person, but as soon as the person invited the mom, you gave the mom 5 years multiple. Why she could have just said, hey, go ahead and take the visa and we don't have to waste the 5 years.
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, so she filed for her mother as in she petitioned for her mother to get a green card to come here.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds right. That takes some time because the first part takes about 15, 16 months. And then you're gonna wait another 2 years for an interview. But did she say that she's filed, her mother has a visitor's visa now?
Yes, 5 years multiple.
Okay. Let's talk.
All right. Lawyer says, let's talk. So make sure you call her. Wayne says, please, has there been any problems so far for renewing a 10-year green card under the present administration?
If there has been, I haven't heard of it. But the only thing that I would say, and that's, that exists even before this administration, is that if you've committed a crime since getting your 10-year green card, depending on the crime, if you've been, depending if it's been, you were convicted and all of that, depending on the details of what occurred, you may want to consult with an attorney just to be aware before you file. Because in some cases, when you file for a renewal, you may have to attend a biometrics appointment, which is to give your fingerprints. And if it comes up that, you've committed some specific crimes, you've been, charged with some specific crimes, you could find yourself in immigration court because permanent residents who commit certain crimes can have their green card taken away. So,
all right.
But other than that, no, I haven't heard of any issues.
Samuel Income says how long siblings visa application takes. And this is from Facebook as well.
About 16 to 17 years.
16 to 17 years, golly. All right, back to Zoom. Fafa says, what's the wait time for conditional green card renewals? What is a conditional green card? I've seen this question twice.
So
is it not just the regular green card?
No, it's a green card that you get through marriage. If your marriage is less than 2 years when you get the green card. Gotcha. So it's more or less they want you, the condition is that go and do your marriage life, and then 90 days before that card expires, you have to now file for the 10-year green card. So that's the condition.
Okay. All right. And this is coming from Alex Dear. Would you advise or recommend that an F1 holder travels out to say Ghana, considering the current issues and court's ruling on visa revokes?
I need more context. I mean, an F1 visa holder, provided your visa is not expired, provided you're still lawfully present, you're still engaged in school, your I-20 is valid, you should be able to leave and return without a problem. But if, if there's an asterisk on your case, maybe you have committed a crime or something like that, then, you may want to consult with an attorney before going. But generally, if you have a valid visa and your I-20 is still valid as an international student, you should be able to travel. Should be, but, apply caution.
I'm going to ask 2 more questions and allow our sister Felicia Osei to ask a question because she's the only one with the hands up on Zoom, and because we have 14 minutes left, and after we're going to come back and finish the Zoom questions. So the next question I'm going to ask is, lawyer, is it possible to move consulates like from Ghana? Okay, you already answered that. A-Class also posted the links in there. Guys, please click on it. Obi says, listening from Afghanistan. Ekrabia say, Duke says link up. I mean Baghdad. Hey, Duke is something else. Duke Jr. The number again is 508-439-4445, and that is for the lawyer. Please call her office and get some bookings so that you can get your issues taken care of. Sister Felicia, please, I'm gonna producer. Can you please unmute her? Can you please unmute Felicia so that she can ask a question? Whilst we are trying to unmute Felicia, V says, how can I expedite my pending I-485 file since May 2022? Interview done, just waiting for the case decision.
2022. That's 3 years ago. There's got to be a reason why you're still waiting. Something's not okay. It's taking about, I think, at least a year and a half. Generally, maximum should be maybe like 19 months, I would say, for a green card application process. An I-485, whether through marriage or through a child. 3 years is a long time. We need to have a conversation. Something's going on there. If it's through a marriage, she said marriage. I don't know if you're being investigated. I don't know what's going on there, but 3 years is a long time, especially if you had your interview already. I need more details. How did your interview go? Was it a Stokes interview? Were the two of you separated? Are you two still married? For 3 years, that's a lot. Yeah.
All right. V, make sure you contact RHODA's office. Felicia, Sister Felicia, Auntie Felicia, please, can you go ahead and state where you're calling from and your question?
Yo, me pacho, me ura wati chi, me kanu chi.
I'm trying to teach you why.
Yo, I mean sure. Me pacho, me kasa free Ohio, Cincinnati.
Good evening.
Now, my question is say, me no be at the home for the will be a file immigration man, green card no man. Now, among some deja on any ya kakra, just we nya 2 years, we say 5 years. Onim baby ote, onim ni number just on friend on kasana. Obeti me akutwitwa aware no.
Yes, in short, if they're not married, if they're married on paper but not married in the actual sense of living together and all that, then yeah, they can. But I would say you'd want to talk a little bit more. Or it sounds like it's not. We say unia, and your case and see. Catch your unia say on from me why.
About you, and the phone na afro.
That's it. Thank you. You better so I'm just quick back. So Sandra says, can a permanent resident sponsor a parent for a visit?
For a visitor's visa? Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can do that. Okay. You can't file for a parent though as a green card holder, but they can get a visa, yeah.
BK says, how likely do removal of conditions petitions get scheduled for interviews, or are they mostly waived like it used to be?
I think at the beginning when I said I've been traveling across the country, it's because everyone's getting interviewed. Everyone, even, a U.S. citizen adult filing for his parents who are 60, 70-year-old, I think a 70-year-old mother filing for her 45-year-old daughter. Everyone's getting interviewed. Everyone.
Okay. Nicholas Otumi says, I joined late. I wanted to ask this question. How can one apply for a green card after completing a master's degree? The person has 2 collaborated published papers already.
Generally, employment-based green card is a track that people who come to the United States as a student go through. You have 2 published works. That's great. It's a great accomplishment. You may need a little bit more than that. I would say you'd want to have a conversation to assess whether you're eligible for NIW, which is National Interest Waiver, or if you have an employer who's willing to petition for you for a green card. So a conversation is necessary.
Okay. Obi says, how can we regulate the embassies to refund at least half of the visa fees after denial? I'm sick of it. Obi, I am with you. And, Nicholas comes to response and says, no refund. But in Nigeria, one counter, you go and you get denied. The next counter, you get your money back.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but that is a petition that the country fought for. And they gave them. But the point is, almost the entire shut down for more. Because also be a Sadia, then make us a trip just to save myself. It's also be a Sadia, the entire farm moment. So almost they also end up going to different countries try to go get the visa. So
I see.
it can be done, but then it comes with a price.
That's a nice incentive. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ikea says, how long does it take to renew an R1 visa?
Depends if you do expedited, premium processing, it could be, 3 weeks and a month. Because we've done that. I did that would be May. I did that in March or so. I
Okay.
filed it in about 8 days. You have to pay for premium processing. It's about a little bit over $1,000. If you pay, you'll get a decision. I think I got a decision in about 2 weeks. But
Alright.
if not premium processing, conventionally, you're looking at about 5 months or so.
Okay. Ikea says, is there a way you can help me expedite the process for my parents? I filed for them in Ghana in 2024.
Expedite, honestly, it depends on what the case is. If it's at the NVC, you could request directly to the NVC and ask them to do it. If it's in Ghana, again, I'm an honest person, not very much that I personally can do.
Okay. All right. A-Class posted a link also to the Friends of Top Send. Please make sure you click on it, and also make sure you click on the link to the HITV platform so that we can communicate on future topics and also help us get more resource personnel to make this happen. Again, the number to Bethel Law Group is 508-439-4445, and the email address is info@BethelLawGroup.com, and Instagram is Bethel Law Immigration. In case you try to find the spellings for it, it's right on her shirt. So make sure you take the right spellings and contact the right people. And so no be ready. Kojo Frimpong says it is advisable to book an appointment with SSA while waiting for EAD from USCIS. I think the question was supposed to be, is it advisable? But he said it is, so I thought he was giving a statement.
Okay, I was like, is he saying it or asking it?
Yeah, he's actually asking, but he wrote it as a statement.
Okay, you want to wait because if you get denied the work authorization, there's no Social Security coming, right? And in order to request a Social Security card, you're going to need some form of authorization. You'll need that work authorization to get it, which is why they used to do it together.
Okay. And this is coming from B. B says, for adjustment of status I-485 via EB2 that my PD recently became current, is it advisable to send in the application now or wait for June? Dates change this month for June. And when the adjustment starts, how long does it take to get a green card?
Green card processing times vary. I'll say that. If your priority date is current, you get I'm assuming you're doing this by yourself. If you are, then get your documents ready. You can go ahead and proceed. But if you are working with a lawyer, contact your lawyer and let them, because you don't want to mess this up. You're at a really pivotal point. But congratulations, you waited a long time, so that's good.
iPhone, we already asked the question in the beginning. I presume you're one of the people from the HITV chat room. Gifty Uncle says, how long does it take to invite a sibling? You already answered that, 16 to 18 years.
17.
V says marriage. I think V asked the question earlier. I forgot what. I think you even answered that because you figured it was marriage.
Yeah.
You answered that. Kojo says, after filing for parents for 3 years without hearing from the USCIS, when do I decide to apply for a visa for them? Will the filing process be nullified if they grant them the visa, the visitor visa? No, it wouldn't, because you answered a similar question to a lady who filed 3 years ago and did the visa, and the guy had the visa and can still continue the process here. So Kojo, your question has been answered. Anambra Amaka says, can a child file for both parents at the same time? Definitely.
Yeah, the one, you have to be over 21 and be a U.S. citizen. If they can prove that they make enough, that's the biggest part, or if they can get a joint sponsor. But yeah, generally, yes, they can.
All right, we got 4 minutes. I'm trying to rush through. And the only caller we'll take after this question will be Obama Samson. I see you. I will take you right after the 7 more questions that we have here. I'm trying to rush through that in 4 minutes. My brother got interview dates twice, but got canceled due to COVID-19 insurgement. No other interview date has been given yet since 2020. When inquired, we were asked to look for interview date, but no luck yet. Can you please help with this again?
What is the brother applying for? Is it a visitor's visa, or what interview was canceled? That's the thing. I have a question about that. I don't If you're looking for an interview date for a visitor's visa, then you can hop on the website, pay the fee, and then do that. But it sounds like it's an immigrant visa. If that's the case, we'd have to talk. I've done that for, I think I was in Ghana last October. I think there's two individuals who had similar situations, and both of them have actually gotten responses from the consulates, and one of them has an interview in like 3 weeks. So
Wow.
yeah.
So just this October, you went to Ghana. Somebody has gotten the visa, almost
Interview.
getting the visa. Yes. Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
had a
nice.
fight. It was so, man, dealing with the consulates. Oh gosh, had to send a lot of strongly worded emails,
Well,
but finally,
Kwame,
yeah.
make sure you pick the number and call her ASAP.
Not promising anything, Kwame, just saying.
AJ says, I was born in the US but taken to Ghana when I was a year old. I returned to US to do my undergraduate in April 2023. I am turning 20. My parents are divorced and they were visitors in the US who overstayed their visas so many years ago. So they are all in Ghana now. Can I file for my mom back to the US because I'm all alone here as a student?
Oh, when you turn 21, you'll then be eligible to petition for your parents. If your parents overstayed the visa back then, they likely will be found inadmissible, which means that they cannot be admitted into the United States and get an immigrant visa, which means she would require a waiver. And it doesn't, from what you're saying, I'm not sure if she would qualify for a waiver yet, but there's a series of processes that she would have to go through. But in short, when you turn 21, you'd be able to file for her.
Okay. Jemima says, please, what are the necessary requirements to apply for citizenship on marriage-based green card? That is a long process that you want to sit down and talk to.
Citizenship on a so you got your green card through marriage. Oh, okay. I mean, if it's been 3 years and you're still living with your spouse, then yeah, you can file for citizenship.
Okay. Emmanuel Arthur says, please, if a wife is working in US with H-1B, can you help the husband who is with her get the necessary legal documents to work alongside in a different company?
So you would have to get an employer who's willing to petition for you for an H-1B yourself. As a dependent of an H-1B, generally you're not permitted to work. You're here, as a support. But if you get a company that's willing to offer you a job and then go through the H-1B lottery process next year, then yes, you can do that. Yeah.
B says yes, documents are ready, so send before June. That was to the previous question that we had.
The PD. Okay.
Yes. Kwame says immigrant visa, and I think this is for the brother, just like you were talking about.
Okay.
The one from COVID time.
I see. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Give me a call. Let's see.
Win says, lawyer, please, I'm a U.S. citizen. I filed for my daughter. While the case was at the NVC, she got pregnant and gave birth. I added the child to the case, and both are in the U.S. now as permanent residents. Can the child be eligible for citizenship under me, or when can he become a citizen?
No. So the child is the child of it sounds like, is it your daughter?
That's a grandchild, yes.
Your grandchild. So no, you can't confer citizenship. When your daughter becomes a citizen, provided her daughter, is it a daughter? I'm assuming it's a daughter. Provided her child is under the age of 18 when she becomes a citizen, she'll be able to confer citizenship to your grandchild. But you can't do that. No.
All right, guys. So we're wrapping up the show. Please make sure you click on both links. The number to the lawyer is 508-439-4445. And the last question from Zoom before we pick up our sister Obama something is, so if you apply for R1 visa renewal without expediting, can you go back to expedite if your visa is about to expire? And if, did you answer that question already?
I did.
And if you're not got any response, you say, yep.
Yeah, you
All
can.
right. Obama something, can you please unmute yourself? Producer, can you please unmute so that Samson can ask his question, and we'll wrap it up on that note.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Please, my husband is Kwame Sedu asked the questions earlier on.
Oh, okay.
So the question is, as you are waiting for the NVC to give us an interview date, should in case he visits Ghana and I get pregnant, because we are yet to give birth, so should in case he visits Ghana and I get pregnant, would that delay our process?
you're in Ghana, he's a US citizen, he comes to Ghana, you get pregnant, will that delay the petition that he's filed for you?
Yes, please. That's the question I want to know.
No, it won't. If he's a US citizen, once you give birth and that's his child, that child's a US citizen.
So it will not delay my process as to get an interview date quick, or like the whole thing will not be waste. That's the question I really want to know.
Well, it depends. If your interview is scheduled the day you're supposed to be in labor, then you might have a problem. That's the only thing I can say. But other than that, then no. So I want to make sure I'm understanding your husband's a US citizen. He lives in the United States. You live in Ghana. He files for you. He filed for you. You're waiting. You said your case is at the NVC?
Yes, please. I'm waiting for an
Okay.
interview date.
Waiting for an interview date. Okay. How do you know when your case became documentarily complete?
As at February 2025.
Oh, that was you. Oh, okay. Oh, so
Yes.
you're about 2 years before an interview. So no. Yeah, you'll be fine. The child will be a citizen, you know, by virtue of your husband.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
lawyer, there is one more hands up, and also there is one more question. Do you want to take it, or you good? Whatever you say, I'm okay with, because I don't want to abuse your time, because we want to have you back another time as well.
Yeah.
So,
I have time. It's fine.
okay. So, for what should I try last minute? Must I throw questions in here? Kwame and Pedu says, how long does it take to be approved when you file for I-130?
Depends on who you're filing for.
Depends on when?
Depends on who you're filing for, and your status. So if you're a green card holder filing for your 23-year-old adult child, that'll take a lot longer than if you are a US citizen filing for your 2-year-old child.
Okay.
So it depends. So I need more context to answer that more specifically.
Okay. Is this session recorded for real listening? Yes, user, it is. It's live on Facebook, Startups in Ghana, HRTV, and also YouTube, HRTV. How much do you charge for consultation? That will please be something when you call, you find out. And
I can say it. I don't
Oh,
mind
okay, go ahead.
because people call it to find out, and then so for 30 minutes phone session, it is $150. For 45 minutes phone or 45-minute video, it is $200. I have 2 offices in Connecticut and in Massachusetts. If you do in person in the office, it's $250. And if your case is something that we accept, as in you hire us, we apply that back to your legal fees.
Oh, okay, nice. Eugene, please go ahead. Ikia also raised a hand. Eugene, please.
It's been the best for last, right?
Yeah, Eugene's supposed to be the last.
All right, so thank you for your program. I was a little bit busy, but there's a question that I want to just find out here concerning traveling. Like maybe you having a dual citizenship issue, like the passport now, like going to Ghana, you have Ghanaian passport and US passport. I remember there was some issues around that, but I did not pay attention to it so much. So I'm trying to find out.
Eugene, it was handled in the beginning of the program. It was handled at the beginning of the program. So when you get there now, she covered everything. Eugene and senior was school, sir. Remember the rundown. No, Eugene, you feel why it was handled at the beginning.
Okay.
Just quick one. Phineas, we cannot take you.
Thank you so much. My question was about the R1 visa, but I think it didn't come out clearly. I wanted to know if you've done the R1 visa renewal. Your visa is supposed to expire in July, and then the church filed for you somewhere in April. As of now, we've not heard anything from them. So I wanted to find out if we could go back to expedite so that we wouldn't have, be here whilst the deadline of our visa.
Yeah, you can. So if you filed it in April,
yeah.
Generally, I think last time I checked, I just did this 2 months ago. I believe the average processing time is about 4 to 5 months, and that's average, which means you can get an answer before then, you can get an answer after then. If you decide, you know, maybe you said it, your current visa expires when, August?
July, yeah.
July, okay.
Yeah.
So if, you know, in about 3 weeks from now, middle of June, you still, you know, haven't gotten anything and you want to pay the additional fee, you can pay the additional fee on a pending application and they'll process it faster.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We'll definitely call your office.
No problem.
Phineas says, my friend's dad is a US citizen and her daughter is here also schooling. Can the dad file for her daughter who is 32 years old?
Sorry, start the beginning of that again. I lost. You lost me there.
My friend's dad is a U.S. citizen and her daughter is here also schooling. Can the dad file for the daughter who is 32 years old?
Oh, okay. So the father's U.S. citizen. He has a daughter in the United States who's 32. Yes, he can file for that daughter. It's going to take a couple of years for the daughter to get a visa. About if she's married, maybe 9-10 years. If she's not married, about 7-8 years.
All right. Thank you very much, lawyer, for coming on the show. We really appreciate you, viewers. We appreciate your time, your concern. Those of you who shared the link, God bless you. Next week, we're going to having some great topic to treat about wellness and, something that will help you to become very, very, prudent and also help yourself as well. At this point, I'm going to call upon A-Class to sign out with lawyer RHODA A-FRIMPONG. As she lives a lawyer. As also I promise you that
That's it.
A-Class, over to you.
A-FRIMPONG, that's CP for the additional diacom. Yamisha people, Yenny so baby, Yamisha DT, and the day up on the top of my hand. I'm really glad the way you handled all the questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
My
really
pleasure.
appreciate it. No wonder your favorite name is called BETHEL. Keep it up, the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lawyer RHODA, and we will hope to see you soon to give us more updates as things progresses. God bless you and see you again soon.
Good night.
Good night. Lawyer RHODA has to jump on another program in 2 minutes, so we have to wrap it up. And also at this point, I want to say big thanks to all our viewers, and I can't thank you guys enough because you guys make this show very, very, educative and also exciting for other people to join. Thank you so much for sharing the link to your friends and families. And I hope that we answered everyone's question, or we asked everyone's question for them. In case we missed anybody, please forgive. It wasn't deliberate or intentional. It was due to the fact that we have to work with a set time my friend is saying restraint. So please bear with us as we progress and get things better as we go. With that being said, I'm going to hand over to Uncle Jimmy whilst he takes us into the Q&A session with Tatapsen. But before that, some videos going to be playing whilst we transition to that. Watch the videos. A-Class and Uncle Jimmy is going to talk about those videos. It is our way to say thank you from Tatapsen. And also thanks to all the mothers that were visited. God bless you all. God bless our producer, director, Nana Lord, Nana Kwesi Waidat, and also Danny and A-Class for helping to make this show a successful one. See you guys next week, same time, same day, Mondays, 6 p.m. And this is where we draw the curtains for YouTube and Facebook. And please, let's channel all the energy to the Zoom link. So in case you don't have it, go to the Facebook platform, click on the Zoom link, and you will be part of us so that we can all have... Oh, somebody said the lawyer's number again. So the lawyer's number, please, I will say for the last time, it's... Oh, thank you, Esenam. 508-439-4445. The number again is 508-439-4445. God bless you all. See you guys same time next week. Bye-bye.
That's it then. And then many na tap for I run away. Nyami show mo tap for. Me show the say oba download tap send. Now or they send this car. They will be tap for mouth. Tap you are the best.
Yeah, that tap for us. See, and the Mother's Day here in Ghana and we are self and you have Church of Pentecost, Telford Central. You has a tata for Abase, Omo Baba Dayasi, Abo Mabasu, Omo den Tuma who do be a better Yama, ye mrantia so am ye dialis and no masa am ye caps any ade e tata for ye damase ye catch obi an say wo Europe and also America ba bia wo bia na pese o send sika de kofie dia eno an say tap send keke o de boso keke na send sika ne keke e be ko kama ma within just a minute no one say sika no o for ye saka sika no tap ye damase. God bless you all.
Yo, tap send. Yamin Shramopa and Mother's Day. Appreciation.